Hi everybody, welcome to another episode, thrilling episode of Journeys with Jeff. We'll get right into our guest tonight. Her name is Marlee Rubenstein. Maiden name is Mickle. For those of you who grew up in West Hartford back in a few years ago, her maiden name is Marlee Mickle. She is now Marlee Rubenstein. She graduated from Korner High School, a rival of my high school, Hall High. She now lives in Bloomfield, and we're going to get right into, she's basically, Marlee's, currently she's associated with Mary's Kitty Corner in Granby, and that is a facility that works with adopting cats and abused cats, and she'll tell us all about that. But I want to just, first of all, welcome Marlee.
Thank you, Jeff.
Welcome. Nice to have you with us.
Nice to see you.
You were born in West Hartford, good old West Hartford. So what was it like when you were growing up? What did you think about West Hartford? West Hartford Center, it's not like Blueback Square in the way it is today, is it?
Not at all.
What was it like?
Oh, it was a lot of fun. We used to always come up to the center, go to the shops, and it was just a lot of fun. We would hang out after school sometimes in the center. And I enjoyed my time here.
Yeah. Good. You had a good time.
Had a good time, a lot of good memories.
What did you do after you graduated from good old Korner?
Well, I got married, and then I had 4 children, and my oldest is Matt, and he just turned 40 yesterday, and then I had a set of triplets.
Child bride.
Who are 36.
And so 3 of your 4 kids are triplets?
Yes, 2 girls and a boy.
Wow. So very briefly, what was it like with 3 baby bottles and 3 diapers to change? And it must have been a nonstop effort.
It was crazy. And, people used to say to me, how can you do it? But the thing is, you just do it. You have to. And I nursed them all, and we went through 360 diapers a week at the time when they were infants, and I was just very blessed that I was able to stay home and be the primary caretaker, and we had a little hired help, and when they were 2, I was on my own.
And you got a lot of support from your husband, from that that rascal Mark Rubenstein you're married to? Mm-hmm. He was supportive.
Very supportive.
That helps.
Yeah, that really helps.
So
I didn't have to worry about anything but taking care of the kids.
And I know all 4 of them are, as you said, they're all adults now. They all went to college?
Yes.
They all have college degrees?
Yes.
And what does Matt do?
He's a veterinarian, and he's living currently in Australia.
And Sarah is?
Sarah is the assistant to the Milwaukee Bucks president, Milwaukee Bucks basketball.
And Becky?
Becky works for a nonprofit in California, and Ben is a high school math teacher in New York City.
Wow, that's a reason to be very proud of raising kids that are productive and doing great careers.
Yes.
That's great. So, all right, your kids are all grown up now. What is it that how long has it been since you've been involved with Mary's Kitty Corner?
It's been about 8 years.
And what is it that drew you to Mary's Kitty Corner 8 years ago to become a part of that facility and that effort?
I've always loved animals, and I've always cared deeply for their feelings. And, being in a shelter is a very traumatic thing for a cat. Dogs do better because they have more easygoing personalities, where a cat, when it's taken out of its environment, struggles, and a lot of these cats are owner surrenders, which means they've lived in a home. And then how we get our cats is we partner with the animal control in New York City, and they go around to high kill shelters there and pull cats that they feel could be adoptable. And so those cats first are given up, they go to a high kill shelter, then they are pulled out of there, they take a long ride up to Granby, Connecticut, they're put in cages, and they may have never been in a cage ever before, and it's very stressful. And so, you know, the shelter environment isn't great, but we do everything we possibly can to ease their transition.
And the goal is to transition them to homes.
Yes.
You guys don't have any, once a cat comes to you guys, there's no putting it to sleep or
No.
Destroying it.
No,
It doesn't happen.
We are in a no-kill shelter, and it's all volunteers, and it's nonprofit, and
What are some of the things that you do? Describe a typical day for Marlee there.
okay, I am one of the ones that goes in 2 times a day to give the sick cats their medicine. And then I do that Monday through Friday. And if I'm needed for something, some odd thing, I'll go in or do anything that I possibly can to help. And, you know, they do tend to be very stressed, so their resistance is down when they come to us. And a lot of them get sick because it's very stressful for them.
Yeah, they're very sensitive animals, aren't they, to their
Yes.
environment?
Yes.
Yeah. Maybe it would be a good time. I know you brought a few pictures, a few of your clients, as
Yes.
it were. If you could you
Yes,
show us some pictures and
sure.
tell us a little bit about
All right.
some of the cats
Cats?
you work with?
All right, well, this is baby Jay, and he came to us July 14th this year. He was an owner surrender. He is our oldest cat in the shelter. He's 12 years old. I think his owner died, so that's his little story. And he had a rough time. He became cage aggressive and didn't like other cats. And so we have moved him temporarily to a special room where he can be by himself but not be in a cage. He can walk around. And he's a very loving, wonderful cat. Even though he's 12, he's got a lot of spunk. He's a great one.
Is there anything in your facility, like a common area where the cats can get out of their cages for a while and kind of
Yes.
wander around and interact?
Actually, we have cages, but then we have what we call free roamers. And the free roamers get along most of the time with other cats. And everybody gets out of their cage at one point or another. Even if they don't like other cats, we put them in the bathroom just so they can get exercise. They can't live in a cage 24/7. So everybody gets out, walks around, has a little time to be free, but then there's some that are always free there.
Okay.
And this cat is Matthew. He's almost 6. He was listed as a stray when he came in, but he weighed 23.6 pounds. You don't get that fat being a stray in New York City.
What do you suppose made him so heavy?
I think he was an
People
owner
would be-
surrender
people
and
would
somebody didn't admit to it. They said, oh, I found this cat. You get people who just say anything. So, and he's been with us for a while. He came in and his paperwork says that he likes children, but they didn't know if he gets along with dogs. He is a free roamer at the shelter right now, so he gets along with pretty much everybody. there. You know, every once in a while there'll be a spat between a couple of them, but it's nothing much to talk about. So that's him. He's a very nice cat. And Lynx, he is 4 years old, and he came from Animal Care and Control in New York City. He came in on May 14th, 2016. He was an owner surrender. His paperwork says that he came from a home with a Chihuahua. He wasn't around children, but adults, he is fine. He has been with us for 2 years and has never been adopted. And he is one that is in a cage most of the time because he tends to fight with other cats. So I would, if someone wanted to adopt him, I would say no cats. But he was with a small dog, so he's probably good with a small dog. And then last but not least is this crazy boy, Winter Wiggs. He is about 3.5. He was an owner surrender. He has been at our shelter for over a year. He came to us in September 2017. He was surrendered for severe allergies and asthma. He weighed 17 pounds, and he gets along with other cats, and he is a free roamer as well. So these are the 4 cats that I chose to show today because of their stories and, you know, the fact that they've been in the shelter for a while.
How many cats can your shelter accommodate, Marlee?
About 65.
And is that pretty much capacity right now, would you say?
Yes, but we also have foster people who foster cats. Like, we hardly ever get kittens because usually kittens don't have all their shots, and to bring them into a shelter environment before their shots, it's not a good idea. So people are willing to foster, and foster parents are always needed for both kittens, for grown cats, for different circumstances that happen to these cats. And if you want to be a foster, you get in touch with Mary's Kitty Corner. We have a website, and
there might be some viewers who would like to know more about Mary's Kitty Corner, and or maybe some of the viewers might have a personal question for you, because we're going to talk more about your activities with animal rights organizations in general. Mm-hmm. So if a viewer wants to contact Mary's Kitty Corner and or talk to you or communicate with you, how can they do that?
Well, our website is Mary's Kitty Corner and .org. And our email is marys.kitty.corner.org@sbcglobal.net.
And Kitty Corner is KK, K and K, right?
Yes, both KK.
Mary's Kitty Corner is right there, okay. So just in case anybody wants to reach for a pen or a piece of paper, could you just repeat that one more time, Marlee?
Sure. Our website is www.maryskittycorner.org, and our email is marys.kittycorner@sbcglobal.net. And our phone numbers are 860-379-4141, or in Massachusetts, 413-297-0537.
Okay. Well, this is going to be broadcast throughout a good part of central Connecticut.
Yes.
So there are going to be a lot of viewers out there who might be interested in maybe being a foster parent,
Yes.
as it were,
Yes.
or
Volunteers.
adopting or volunteering, or any number of various questions and concerns.
Right.
So that's good.
So
that
they can call, they can go on the website if they want to be a volunteer or they want to adopt. We also have our cats on pet finders. And so, you know, if they want to do that, there are applications online at our website for them to fill out. And, you know, we screen all our prospective adopters.
Okay.
So, and if they want to help, there's volunteer applications, there's foster applications. It's all on the website.
Okay. And you can facilitate, I mean, you're in a position where you can, anybody who calls in and wants to, in any way, any manner that they wish to get involved, you're prepared to facilitate them to, with any questions or paperwork or
Right.
whatever they have.
Not me personally, but Lisa Shackett and Kathy Gagne and Terry Finkel. Those are the three people that are involved with adoptions, fosters, and all those things.
Okay, thank you. Very good. Let me just, Marlee, I want to just expand a little bit here, and go back. I know that you've been very, very active in animal rights in general. You are a member of PETA, and I know that you've been very active in a lot of issues regarding animal rights. What is it that initially motivated you to direct your attention and your energy and your concerns towards animal rights in general?
Well, the bottom line is my love for animals, and I have great empathy and compassion, and I always try to think about how I would feel if I was them. And the other thing is that what got me involved in animal activism is that this country has a lot of factory farms. It's not like it used to be where a cow was able to just run around in the warm sunlight and feel the grass under its feet, or pigs or chickens. They're in confinement, and some of them never see daylight, and some of them never breathe fresh air. And I just find that to be wrong. I get it that people eat meat, but they don't have to keep them in such awful conditions.
Well, that raises a question in my mind. We have a government supposedly that has, we certainly know there are regulatory agencies out there. Why isn't the government regulating or have some control over how these farms and farmers and these people who raise animals, how they treat their livestock? Aren't there laws that require them to do that?
Well, there are for dogs and cats and certain animals, but farm animals are exempt from most protections from the United States and their laws towards animal cruelty. And so these factory farms get to just do anything they want. And in the last few years, they have been trying to pass a law to make it illegal for whistleblowers to report anything or film undercover. And I have seen some of the undercover film, and it's sickening. And that's the reason why I became involved. Like I said before, I get it that people eat meat. I personally don't, and haven't for 33 years.
Because?
Because of the cruelty. I don't want my hands bloodied with that kind of cruelty.
So it's more of a moral
Yes.
reason more than a
No.
health.
I don't care about the health. It's more that I care about what happens, and I care about how it happens, and I'm prepared not to have meat ever again in my life because of this.
Right.
Right.
What are some of the specific main issues regarding PETA is People for Ethical Treatment of Animals?
Yes.
Does that include the domestic pets or?
Yes.
And what is that umbrella? Is that also for
Yes, they care about
farm animals?
Another thing in this country is the captive wildlife breeding, whereas people think, oh, it might be a great idea to go get a little lion cub. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. And then that lion cub grows up and, they don't know what to do with it. And so there's protection set for those kind of situations where someone has thought that it's a good idea to get a little bear cub, a tiger cub, or any kind of animal. That lemurs are being taken out of their native place. The last ones that I've heard about are sloth bears, and they've been just snatched out of trees and for the pet trade. And it's not right. They should just be able to live their little lives in their natural habitat.
Aren't there are some countries, is our country an example of some countries that have certain laws prohibiting importing various animals for their fur or for their ivory or for
Yes.
their whatever.
Yes.
Are those laws in the United States, are they tough in this country?
Well, they are getting tougher. I mean, we just passed in the last year or two, no more ivory import from, Africa or even Asia. So that's a very good thing.
But let me back up for a second. Let's just hypothetically suppose somebody has information, some inside information, that there's some illegal ivory, just as an example of dozens and dozens of examples. But let's say that somebody's got some information that there are certain laws that are being broken regarding regarding animals in general. And back to that whistleblower thing. Let's say that person or persons blows the whistle, as it were, tries to, tells, gets some documentation,
Yes.
goes to an agency and says, here's what's going on. Are you saying that person with the whistleblower laws, that person who blows the whistle could actually be prosecuted?
Yes, that's what they're trying to.
What are they going to prosecute the person for?
Well, if they say that there's a law against whistleblowers, then that whistleblower will be breaking the law. So that's what they can prosecute them for.
Who would pass the law? Why would they pass a law?
Well, in general, it would be factory farms, and they're in bed with the politicians, and so they are bought and have the politicians vote in their favor. There's a lot of money that goes on behind the scenes, and it's not good.
So what does the average citizen, what does the average person do? Just surrender and say, well, that's just the certain corruption or the lack of morality in the system?
No.
And what can I do about it?
You can write to your senators. You can write letters. You can get in touch with people, get on a phone chain to put out the word that this is going on here or wherever it is. And there's all sorts of things that you can do. There's a lot of animal groups out there, and some of the ones that I like the best are the ones that are the most transparent. And there's a great one in Colorado called the Wild Animal Sanctuary, where they go around and, let's say, for instance, there's a roadside circus and it's got bears that are living on concrete, and they're in a 12 by 12 pen and they never get out, and someone starts to shut them down. Well, this sanctuary goes and picks up these animals, and they have acres, tons and tons of acres out in Colorado, and they make very natural habitats for them. They can never be released to the wild, but they can at least live out the rest of their lives and feel grass and do natural behaviors.
So what you're saying is that you yourself have seen signs and evidence that the average person, the people out there collectively being active in terms of this, it can have positive results.
Oh, yes.
Because it's resulted in
Yes.
animals being...
And laws being changed,
and laws
too.
being changed.
Yeah, you put enough pressure on, you take certain people to court, certain, you get lawyers on your side. There's a, animal legal defense fund, and, you just have to have a voice, and that's the most important thing. Don't ever give up, and always fight for what you believe in, and,
Very good advice. We have to wrap up in a minute. I want to just one last thing. You said that you had seen some film yourself, as gruesome as it has been,
yes.
about some of these abuses. Is there a website? Where did you see that film? Is there a website or that people might just find out for themselves in case they've got any doubts?
A very good one. There's a lot of them, but a very good one is Mercy for Animals, and they have a lot of videos on YouTube that you can go. Just type in Mercy for Animals, and you will see things that you never thought possibly could go on. And I won't get into graphic details, but it's sickening. Well, and I think that if more people knew or cared to know, things could change. But I think a lot of people are content with just not knowing. It's better for them.
Well, and that's where people like you and even the media in general. I mean, if it weren't for the media going into Vietnam to see what was really going on there, or down to Birmingham, and see how the police treated the protesters down there.
Right.
The public reacts. When the public becomes aware and is informed of these things, then you're going to have some pushback from people.
Exactly, and that's why that whistleblower law is not a very good idea. We need our freedom in this country. We need to be able to show, these kinds of atrocities that are going on in our factory farms.
Well, that's a very good way to end the discussion. I want to thank you there was a lot of things we touched on.
Yes.
And I think you brought to mind some very, very important issues, some issues and things that all of us should be thinking about. So, Marlee Rubenstein, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
For being with us. And as far as you viewers out there, please make a point, get involved. Call the Kitty Corner, call Marlee, call PETA, get involved, and we all working together can hopefully make a difference. And we'll see you next time. Thank you very much.